How do we hyper-fast, hyper-local agent? Okay, here we go. Shoot, come here, you. Give me a second, gentlemen. It's slowly getting there.
What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. And we've got a killer guest back with us today, Dan Lesniak. We were talking about how to be a hyper-local, hyper-fast agent, how to be that in your neck of the woods. So we've got a bunch of stuff to get into. Dan's got a boot camp with Grant Cardone coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about that and how you can get involved. So with that being said, Greg McDaniel, my partner in crime, all things, at least all crime real estate related, let's put it that way, in the co-pilots.
Just don't know where you're going with that. Dude, as we are recording this and we are broadcasting live, I'm in Northern California, as you guys know, and the smoke from the campfire, the thing's burned over 150,000 acres or something crazy at this point. It's blowing in, and it's so crazy, man. We look outside, and you think it's smoggy, or not smoggy, but like foggy or something like that. It's not fog. It's all smoke. It's crazy. There's nobody moving, man. Like, everybody's hunkered down, bunkered inside. It's stupidly weird. I don't know. I wonder if anybody else is in this smoke as well. But besides that, man, I'm glad to be here, Dan. I talked to Dan a while back in regards to kind of what he's building, what he's putting together. Really cool program. If you guys are thinking to get some super awesome training, so Dan, man, welcome back. And Gene, the bald ninja, welcome back to the Friday show, my friend. Both of you guys.
Thank you. Glad to be back for show number 2.
It's gonna be a great show.
It is. Gene, the evil bald ninja, what's up today?
How you guys doing, man? Everything's good.
Everything is good, except for Greg and the air quality and his constant complaining about the cold, the frigid cold that that's inspiring him to return to his hoodie-wearing ways. Other than that,
it's winter time in the Northern California. It's fucking cold, man.
Yo, it snowed here yesterday. We got 4 inches of snow yesterday. Stop bitching.
I would just get into a down sleeping bag and cry. That's what I would do.
All right. Let's get things kicked off with a question here. This is from Robert in the Lead Gen Description Objections group. Says, does anyone know of a software for clients to leave reviews and it hits all the major pages like Google, Yelp, Zillow, etc.? I'm getting sick of having my reviews not come through to Zillow. So I've got some thoughts on this, but Gene, I wanted to grab you for a second because you're actually doing something unique for your clients that you're having them start to do. So why don't you run through that just real quick?
Yeah, so we created these real simple landing pages, basically, and they look pretty. It's got, like houses or whatever you want to put as your banner. We can make it consistent with your social media, so it all looks consistent. We got a little blurb in there about referrals are the lifeblood of our business, and then we basically will pick 3 areas you want to have your review put to. So like say Google, Yelp, and Zillow. There's 3 buttons. So you can send your folks to this, and they click it, pick the button of their choice, and it takes them right to where you would make the review on Google, where you would make the review on Yelp. It takes the guesswork out of it. So I could say, Matt, were you happy with the service? You go, it was awesome. I go to this link, reviewgene.com, and pick the one of your choice. Do all 3 if you want, right? You click it, put your review in, it lands right on that page for you, and you got a brand new review from a happy client.
Nice. Love it. So Dan, let's turn to you for a second. I'm curious just kind of what your guys' process is. How do you reach out and ask clients for reviews, and at what point in the process do you guys typically like to reach out?
So we try to precondition them throughout the process that, we want our service to be so great that, you would recommend your friends, your family, your colleagues to us and have an amazing, things to say about us at the end and leave us great reviews. So we try to start from the beginning. And then the other thing we try to do, we use like a canned email basically that lists, Yelp, Google, Zillow, maybe a couple more, I can't remember, but they'll get an email type of follow-up that basically has 4 or 5 links in it. But I don't think there's a way that they can like write the review once and then it populates on all of them. I think we do tell them they can like cut and paste, copy and paste to try to get them to do multiple. But yeah, what you just described sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't think there's a way for somebody to write a review and it hits all the major pages yet, although maybe that might be coming at some point. Yeah, one of my clients and one of the past guests of the show, Doran Aldana, runs a software called My Testimonial Engine, and that allows you to send a preset sequence of emails out to clients. It gives them a place for them to leave the review, and it captures the review. Then it gives them a place where they can copy paste it, and it gives them the options of going out a few more places. So it streamlines and like automates that exact process. But yeah, I don't think you'll get it. I don't think it solves the problem of the question of like, how do you get Zillow to post them? Because that has nothing to do with anything we have control over. You know, it's like they can submit reviews all they want. Zillow is the one that decides what actually makes it onto Zillow. But what Doran's software does is allow you to, at the very least, even if they don't follow through and they don't post the review anywhere, you still capture it, right? They still wrote something, and you get to keep that, and you can use it in all your marketing materials. And it makes that process of getting to those other sites easier as well. And I think it auto copy paste and things like that. So it has some really cool features like that. But yeah, as far as getting it to like post on the major sites, I think that's still an issue. Hopefully somebody will solve that at some point. But at least at this point, it sounds like, Gene, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles. You know, you have to pick like your top 2 or 3 you want to send people to, because otherwise it gets to be asking too much to where they just don't take any action at all.
Yeah, and here's what I found. Like over time, a lot of people. So if you get it right there, if you're there with them, it's a lot easier to coerce them into giving you a review than say maybe putting your emails out. Like we use a reputation management software too. And they actually have a template in place that goes and follows up 3 days later and then 5 days after that. And the reason because just like when you invite somebody to like your page, they see it, they go, yeah, I'll get to it, and then it goes 55 emails down, right? So these are they found out that the most replied to email was the one that came 3 days after, because it's like, oh yeah, I forgot to do it. So what we found is there's two things, I think. The first thing is that you have to deliver fantastic service. Like you got to give them the reason to want to do that for you, number one. And number two is that the easier you make it for them. Like that thing I just showed you where you can pick from Google, Zillow, or Facebook, let's say. If I'm in your face, I would say to you, Matt, you're happy with the service, right? You go, oh, dude, it was awesome. Could you do me a favor and hit one of these? If you wanted to hit all 3, I wouldn't be mad. And if I'm making it easy for you, you're more likely to do it than if you had to jump through hoops, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and if it's just copy paste, like a couple of clicks and a copy paste, yeah, makes it super easy. All right, so let's jump in, Dan. Let's talk a little bit about the Hyperfast Sales Bootcamp just for a second, and I'm curious just kind of how the event came together, why you decided to put it on, and then we'll talk about just your upcoming book and how to be the hyperlocal hyperfast agent. So we'll get to that in a second, but tell us a little bit about the bootcamp first.
Sure. So we're excited. It's going to be December 7th, right outside of DC. We decided to put it on because we did a really cool, or went to a really cool event back in August, and Gary Vee was there. He was one of the main guys, along with Tony Robbins. Mm-hmm. After the event, we got to do a private dinner with him, which actually turned into an interview because of how the scheduling error, we'll just call it that. But and it was really awesome, really amazing. We started talking to Gary about what it would take to get him to come do an event, and his schedule was kind of, it wouldn't work for what we wanted to do. So we thought, okay, who else would be really who else would be like really cool? And I've always loved Grant Cardone, so we reached out to him and pitched him on the idea, and their people said they were interested, and a few weeks later we had the deal in place. So it's been a whirlwind. I didn't realize what we were getting into putting this kind of thing on, but
yeah.
But it's been awesome.
So Grant's headliner.
In all ways. Yeah, Grant's the headliner. Tristan and Nick, who you guys probably know from Lab Code Agents, are going to come. They're going to be talking about automation through all parts of the business or pipeline. We got another special guest that we're not now announcing yet. We're announcing them next week, but they are in the digital marketing, paid advertising world, doing some really cool stuff. Nice. Who else we got? We got Sean Fritz from McLean Mortgage. He's a top 100 lender in the country. He does about 150 million in loans a year. So
nice.
super big lender. And then we're putting together a panel of some of the top agents from this area, from DC, from Baltimore, and kind of surrounding areas. So
Awesome.
it'll be jam packed. The day before, we actually have a VIP, some VIP events as well. We're going to give, all the VIPs, there's probably about 50 total, tour of our office, and then do a fireside chat back at our house after, just kind of a mastermind.
Cool.
For those of you who don't know, my wife and I, Carrie, we run the Carrie Scholl team and the Orange Line Living team. We are closing in on 300 million in volume for the year and on 500 deals. So we're getting close. If we have another good 2 weeks, we'll hit those numbers. So just a little bit about our real estate business.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so URL for the event, so hyperfastsalesbootcamp.com.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, cool. Yeah, so we didn't like the 500 deals, 300 million volume, so that's awesome. Congratulations on that, by the way. That is a phenomenal year. So you guys are clearly growing and have figured some stuff out, which is awesome. So we'll get to that in a second. Greg, what are your thoughts on? I know you might end up going out there to the event as well, right?
Possibly. We'll see how it all shakes out. But it sounds like a fantastic idea. When Dan and I talked a couple of weeks ago on the phone, we had the Buddha of real estate on the line with us ourselves, as well. You know what I'm talking about. Who do I always call the Buddha of real estate?
It's the first time I've ever heard that term.
Dan, who is the Buddha of real estate?
I'm guessing Jeff Latham.
Yes, come on, man.
Oh, the Zen master.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Jeff Latham.
They called up, and Dan and Jeff were talking, and we were having a lot of fun. They're kind of explaining everything, and I was really excited about kind of what they were building and kind of what they were doing because of all the good information that's going to come out of it in the holiday season. So that's why we got to get Dan on. We got to promote this thing. We got to talk about it. We got to get people there because Dan, you've seen this. Gene, Matt, we've all seen this. In the holiday season, a lot of agents just kind of tune out. They start wearing hoodies. They start not prospecting. It's just a disaster.
It's a big problem.
But all of you guys are on iTunes. I actually am wearing my hoodie right now. Matt ridicules me religiously for it. But it is, all joking aside, that people just check out. And I'm really pumped about you guys having this going on this time of year because this will hopefully re-energize people to become hyper fast and to become hyper local and really step it up to the next game. So their Q1 of 19 is going to be a very prosperous time for them. Did you guys design it to do that, or was it this is the time that Grant was free, this is the time you were free? How did the timing kind of pan out?
Yeah, so he had other options, but we kind of liked this window, this slot where it's after Thanksgiving, but far enough away from Christmas that hopefully people weren't tied up in holiday stuff yet, and enough time before 2019 that you could actually start making an impact, but not so far away from 19 that you're still focused on this year. So I think it's a good time to focus on getting ready for next year. Some people slow down that month. We're actually the busiest we've ever been. December is probably going to be our best month in the history of the company, but
wow.
But I know for a lot of people this is a good time to kind of plan, work on your systems, work on your marketing, work on things that maybe you're a little too busy to work on during other times of the year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Gene, I mean, let's talk about systems. Let's talk about automation. We scooted right over you last Friday unknowingly, and you were on. Don't shake your head at me.
It's ridiculous.
I see the glare. Okay, man. I said sorry. Gosh.
Because you know how quiet I am sitting in the corner. You sometimes forget about me.
I do not. Okay, anyways, we're going to put our shit on a shelf here. Move forward. We had a really cool thing you were going to talk to us last week about, and I thought it was something cool that might work with people for this time of year.
Well, sure, you can. Well, it works at any time of year, right? But you can certainly implement this during the seasons. But have you guys seen that Facebook started to make their info and ads public now? So if you go to have you seen this stuff? It's pretty cool, right? So I've been telling people just to straight up hijack other people's ideas. So what you do is, no, seriously.
You're like a pirate of Facebook ads. You're gonna
listen,
skull and crossbones as your banner photo, and you're gonna fly in and just grab all their shit.
Well, listen, think about. I told you I was a ninja. I'm operating in the covert, like in the confines of night in all black. You can't see me sometimes, right? No, but think about this. So we were talking Gary Vee before, right? Gary Vee's all over the place. The dude's crushing the whole game. And so if that's somebody that you admire, in the real estate world, it could be your competition down the street, right? But you can actually now go to their business page, and on the left-hand side, at the very bottom, they have a thing called info and ads. And Facebook's very nicely putting in all the ads that company or real estate agent's running on their platform. So you can look and see what your competition's doing and either completely counter it, or why would you, if somebody's getting stuff done, like if Gary Vee's in my space and I'm just trying to do what Gary Vee does, why wouldn't I steal some of his ideas? I mean, that's what the internet's all about, isn't it? And it sounds awful because I'm saying steal like negative. I would make it look my own, but I can use some of the verbiage, and I wouldn't, obviously, you can't plagiarize. Don't plagiarize. But just get an idea for what he's doing. Here's the one thing I can tell you. If you go look at Gary Vee's ads, 100% of all his ads are what, do you think?
Effective?
Well, all video. Most of them are effective, I'm sure.
Are they?
But they are all video. Right?
Okay, I'm going.
So
okay, go ahead.
So is that something that you think you might want to employ?
Mm-hmm. Would it be video that you would shoot yourself, or would it be video that that would be kind of like put to like a I don't know, animation? Sure. Does it matter?
Well, it's going to matter, right? And unfortunately, it's going to matter at the end of the day when we see what the results look like. So what I would do is I would create multiple campaigns, and a lot of it depends on your budget, right? If you have $50 to spend, it's going to be hard for you to create a video. In that case, you might want to do a carousel of photos. But if you have a little bit of a budget and some good content, I would throw a couple videos up, do the animation, do a video of you talking, do a video of your open house, do a video, do it that way, and run the ad campaign to split the dollars to all of them. And then watch and see what works, and double down on the stuff that works, and kick out the stuff that doesn't work.
That is an awesome way to be hyperlocal.
We've been doing a ton of video ads since we met with Gary Vee, and noticed a huge difference. The other cool way we've been using that info and ads section, I almost hate to broadcast it out, but if we're competing in a listing, and every agent in the world can just put things on the MLS and do that, we'll actually go in and say, we'll teach the client, the seller, how to use that. And we'll say, okay, compare us, click on our info and ads, see that we're running 30, 40 different ad sets, and go look at your, the other people you're interviewing, click on their page, see what ads they're running. And usually most agents just aren't running ads on Facebook yet, unfortunately. And a lot of them that do, they do one, they just post here's me at a closing or something like that, and run that ad, and that's all they're doing. And people just start focusing on it enough in our industry.
I like it.
It's amazing.
So using your ads as a competitive advantage in your listing appointments. I like it.
So good.
I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. You can literally pull up your opponent's Facebook page and just run them through the ads live that they're not running compared to your own Facebook page. I like it.
Yeah, here's the funny thing about that. I'm on Gary Vee's page right now, and I'm scrolling through that whole thing. He has the same ad running. It's in different languages and subtitles.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I'm still going, wait, that looks like a different. Yep, that's a different. Yep, that's a different. Yep, that's a different. They're all different languages.
And look, awesome. If you look at that, right? So Matt, we should probably interject your email the other day. If you're not on Matt's email list, make sure you sign up, give him that information. But I got that email from you where you were talking about how Gary Vee has 18 people just for his personal content, right? So I'll let you dig into that if you want to dig further. But Greg, just by looking at his ad space, right? You think he's spending $150 a month on ads?
He's probably spending a little bit more than that.
Right? You can tell. So back to Dan's point. But listen, back to Dan's point, you can show your competitor stuff of what they're not doing. But more importantly, if you're in a spot where Dan is, you can go, no, I'm not going to besmirch anybody else's name. I just want to show you what we're doing. And check this out, and what you're going to start to see is your house pop up in all these ads that we're spending marketing dollars on. I mean, that's a big deal. So, and people go, wait a minute, you're running 45 ads? That must be a lot of money. Well, yeah, it takes a lot of money to make a lot of money. That's what we do, right?
Mm-hmm. I like the word besmirch. Is that what he said? Besmirch?
It is.
Besmirch.
Besmirch. I like it.
Besmirch.
Excellent grammar. I like that.
All right. Well, Dan, let's turn back to you a little bit. So tell me a little bit about, so how did the hyperlocal hyperfast? Tell me about the kind of the big idea behind the book.
Yeah, so it's based on my first year in real estate, and this seems like yesterday sometimes, but it was about 6 years ago now. I didn't get the job I wanted coming out of business school. They told me I wouldn't be good at sales, actually, a lot of the places I interviewed with. So I got my license and started selling homes. At first, I did it part-time. And I think that plus some of the strategy I thought kind of focused me to try and do all my business in the building I lived in, about 200 total units. And I really just focused on that. So it was really like all my clients were accessible by one elevator. And it worked really, really well, really fast. I had to quit my job in about 3 months. And
Nice.
yeah, I ended up selling about 22.5 million that year. Most of it was in that building, probably 12, 13 million. And the rest was all within that zip code. So like walking distance. I probably at that time, I knew nothing about real estate 2 miles, 3 miles away from there, but I knew a lot about it inside it. So the theory really is this kind of process I came up with: segmentation, targeting, and positioning, where you look at the different segments in the market, pick which one you want to target, and then come up with a way to position yourself as being able to add more value.
Love it.
People. And it's something that really can apply. I think it's great for agents starting out. It's just a different technique than go call your friends and family who know that you are not in real estate or that you just made the move. And so that was part of, I think it can work for that agent, but it can also work for an established person that's wanting to get more market share or expand into an adjacent or new market. So I think there's a lot of value in it for, agents all up and down the spectrum.
Yeah, I love that progression, just the segment target position, which is fantastic, like really great marketing strategy, just fundamental stuff that most agents ignore, don't even know about, or once they find out, they just refuse to do it because of a lot of reasons, fear being one of them. So have you seen this like with your own agents that you guys bring on? Do you help them through this process and kind of help them zero in on where they're going to be hyperlocal and get them up and running quickly?
Yeah. So, we generate a massive amounts of leads for them. We have about 25 licensed agents on the team right now, plus 5 that are like in the pipeline that either signed on to join or in our training. But so we bring them a lot of the business, but we also this year have specifically focused on teaching them how to go out and get their own business. And we've, told them that, give us areas you're interested in, not just geographic areas. Like it can be, doctors or dog lovers or, just whatever kind of clubs interest you have where you want to go and, do business with. And they're, we're putting them in groups actually to kind of brainstorm and think of ways to go after that specific type of business, like new home, communities, veterans, like all sorts of different kind of market silos. So we are teaching them, as individuals and in small groups to try and go out and use these techniques, in little micro kind of areas all over the place.
Interesting.
Love it.
How is the niche marketing doing? And we want to be hyper local, right? That's one of the things that we all want to be. I was actually having a conversation with Viral Marketing. Actually talking with Scott Solari, Matt, yesterday, and he kind of was browbeating me over the head, like you're a fucking idiot. This is what you need to do. And I'm like, oh wow, you're so smart. It was super simple. It's just going out and having a conversation with the local bakery, having a local, dog walker, local people, and just doing an interview with them super quickly. Nick Sakis and I are doing this now. We went to Groupon, got the discounts. I went and did a 30-second to a minute video, and I ran those videos. We have over like a couple 100,000 views on these videos. I think I spent like $500. It's not a lot of money, and you can really get hyper local, and you can bring value to the local neighborhoods. And that's, I think, Dan, and correct me if I'm wrong here. That's kind of, I believe, what you're going for, is that you want to, the hyper fast, So hyper fast getting involved in the neighborhoods, and then hyper local for just being the man or woman around town.
Right.
That's kind of your niche, what you're going for, right?
Yeah, and that's what Gary Vee told us when we sat down with him too. He actually basically said, "Yeah, you use social media to be the mayor of your town, like, which is just like owning every story that's out there." Like he said, if there's a pothole on Main Street that everyone's like, bitching about, go out and take a picture, write something about it, and then run a couple $100 of ads, to it in that area. And it was just a lot of stuff like that, just to get your name
You,
as like the authority in that group, in that area.
you know what? You just brought something up that I saw Domino's running a commercial. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this ad. And it says, like, it talks about delivering their pizzas. They say, hey, if there's a pothole in your area and it's messing up your car, or or it's a big problem, let us know. We might come out there and fix the pothole for you. And it just gets people talking. I'm like, why would you fix a pothole? Because it won't mess up the pizza. But that's just an idea. I mean,
yeah.
So my daughter's, every single time that commercial comes on, she's like, Dad, do you really think they're doing that? She knows who it is. Seriously, she knows it's Domino's, right? It's ingrained, and now you're talking about it. We talk about it and we order from there. I mean, we get it all the time.
So
Greg, what are you doing with Groupon? Oh, sorry, I was kind of curious about that Groupon thing.
Dude, okay, so check this out, dude. It is so stupid simple. Okay, so I was running into a problem a little while ago, and Nick and I, he's like, hey, go find some coupons. We'll do some short videos from local businesses. I'm like, shit, how am I gonna go talk to all these people and see if they want to run an ad? I'm like, then I get an email from Groupon. I'm like, oh, I'll just go call these people, right? 100% of the people that I approached off of Groupon, like 47% off, 72% off, 50%, whatever the percentage off of whatever, business they have. All I do is I call them up. I say, hey, Dan, my name is Greg McDaniel. I'm a real estate agent here in the area with EXP. Hey, I'm calling today. I see that you're on Groupon. You're offering 56% off of your doggy day spa. Would it be cool? I'm trying to gain more notoriety for my clients. Would it be cool if I ran your ad to my clients and not charge you what Groupon charges you? Because Groupon charges you like an arm and a leg above that percentage off. And every single time I do that, people are just like, well, yeah, absolutely. Come on down. Absolutely. We'd love to do it. And I've done it on bike shops, salons, those float tanks, anything. And because it brings you a massive amount of visibility without having to spend a single dime on the discount. Everybody thinks that you're getting the discount. Like I had this one gal, she is a facial lady, get your skin all looking good. She liked what I was doing so much. She walked me, literally took me by the hand, walked me into a neighboring salon. This gal does hair. She gave me a 50% discount just for having her friend introduce me. And I can offer out to all my people. It's so powerful, and it takes zero time to do this. That's hyperlocal.
And you're running the ad for them, basically?
Yes. So Nick Sackis, he's running the ads. All I do is put the spend out there, record the video, upload it to Facebook, run the ad for X amount of dollars, and then check back in with them to see kind of what their results were. Every one of the people that I'm running the ads for right now is getting a great response, and that goes back to being able to. And once you run the ads with them and you see that they got some business or visibility, then you go back to them and say, "Hey, Dan, I'm so glad this brought you some business. Could I count on you for 1 to 2 referrals in the next 12 months?" Well, yeah, absolutely. So it just creates that. And if you're running multiple of these ads, maybe one in each of the cities you work in every single month, so spend let's say you work in 3 cities, spend $100 per ad. That's $300 spend. That's super cheap, and you are going to become omnipotent. You're going to be everywhere when it comes to Facebook, all bringing value to the local folks. It's so simple. We all overlook it. We're like, oh, why Groupon? Well, because they already did the legwork for us, man. You don't have to do anything else. So, I mean, interesting in a good way, Matt, or are you criticizing me quietly?
No, just the wheels are turning, just thinking.
A little bit of both. It's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both for sure. We know it is.
No. So here's my theory on the hyperlocal thing. I think where people get a little off course taking Gary's advice is choosing too big of an area to try to be the mayor of.
Yeah,
like any offensive attack, you have to have the resources to mount an offensive. And if you don't have the resources of a team, for example, like if you're a solo agent, then you don't try to take on the teams like the Dan Lesniaks of the world that wants to, like you don't need to take them on and be the mayor of the exact same geographical area, because it's going to be a lot harder for you to cover that and be omnipresent in a bigger area. But you can be present in, like Dan, you talked about, a condo building, for example. Like if you wanted to be the master of a condo building now, you can run geo-fenced Facebook ads to put your face and your call to action in front of everybody in that, essentially just basically that building, or within a very small, like walking distance of it. So you can do like really cool stuff like that. The problem isn't that there's so many options available to us now, but we end up spreading our resources so thin because we're trying to be the mayor of way too big a territory, because we all love Gary Vee and we all love the content, and we all want to be like that. And then I think that's how we get off of track. So I think that's what I love about the hyper local message, is the better we get at that part of it, the more effective all the other stuff is, because we actually bring more resources to bear, like a smaller area.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think a lot of times when people are starting out, they're coming from a position of scarcity and fear and worrying about their next closing. So they're chasing every lead, every like marketing technique and every idea, and it's like the difference between a shotgun versus an assault rifle or you're just
Absolutely
spread too thin.
Yep.
And I see a lot of agents do that, and then they, because they're spread so thin, they don't have like the time to keep doing anything for more than a month or 2 or 3, and then they say like, well, I tried that and it doesn't work, and I tried door knocking, I tried this kind of marketing, I tried calling, and it doesn't work. But yet there's probably people like in their office that are selling 10, 20 million or more a year doing that same exact technique. They're just focused on it.
So let's do this. Let's for the agent that's just starting out, they have a limited budget, either or both. How would Dan start if you had scratched everything? You and your wife were not running your teams. You were not as successful as you are. You're sitting out there. You have a little bit of coin in your pocket. You can start doing something. Where would you start, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I would do a lot of the same stuff I did. The one thing I would do differently is some of what we're talking about with social media and ads, and I would probably not do direct mail, and I would replace that spend with Facebook ads. So direct mail in my area, at least, it costs about 50 cents a piece you mail out. So for $1,000, I can hit 2,000 homes. Recently, I ran a video ad, $1,000 to 3 zip codes. So that's a lot, but there was a potential target of about 60,000, and for $1,000, wow. I hit 20,000 people. 35,000 impressions. 20,000 people viewed it, though. A couple people viewed it multiple times. And you just compare that to direct mail, like that's that $1,000 would have got me 2,000 versus 20,000, so it's about a 10x there. But now I've built up this list. I can go back into those ads. I can run ads to people that viewed 50% or 75%, whatever I want of the video, so I can kind of keep on building, refining an audience, get them deeper into the to knowing me and my value proposition. So I would pick a small area, most likely, and run a bunch of like Facebook and social media ads to them, and then combining that with trying to go around and actually meet people, maybe do an event for the building or an area. So kind of that old school stuff combined with the new age digital type marketing.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. I've been arguing with my team for a long time. Like, we got to stop doing direct mail. Not that it's ineffective, it's just not cost effective. A lot of the agents here in the area will they're spending 65, 75 cents per item. They're sending a full sheet, like a full full page of high gloss stuff about a property. But it's nice, it's big, but it gets thrown away super quick. And if I'm going to spend $1,000, $2,000, I would much rather hit more people with calls to actions that then gives us the ability to retarget them to hit them again with another specific, call to action. Because if Matt and Julie and his 3 obese, insulin-sucking, wood-venting little troll babies, which I haven't called them out in a while.
It's
I don't
become
know where
too easy for you to say.
I know it
Yes, it rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? Insulting
really
my
does.
fake kids comes so naturally.
But if Matt watched an ad, Dan watched an ad, and Gene watched an ad, and I can retarget them, it's way more effective to do that than to go out and send them a postcard. Then I got to send them another postcard and another postcard and another postcard, and not being able to get any return on my money. It's just hoping I catch them on a good day when they actually want to read my postcard. So I'm completely on board with what you're doing, Dan. I'm big time, man.
So, can we talk practical application real quick before I jump out of this piece?
Yeah, no pun intended.
No, because he's got me really going, right? So, like, you can see the notes that I was taking while we're talking. So here's what you want to talk about: hyperlocal and how a real estate agent with $100 can get in. Right. So here's what I'm thinking: you pick a local development that you would normally farm, right? You figure out the method you want to use, and I would recommend that you use snail mail, your direct mail, and Facebook ads. But hear me out. Then pick a service. I would go out and get 4 local area businesses that are willing to give me a coupon, and I would call it whatever the development was called, the Morgan Farms discount. I would put my picture on the back with a video and a landing page and send them the coupons and say to them, visit this page to activate your coupon. And when they go to that page to activate the coupon, we hit them with the pixel and retarget them that way. You put a unique URL and a unique phone number in there so that you can track what's going into the businesses. And then you can go back and report to the businesses and spend. So Dan was saying 50 cents for a piece of mail. It costs you $50 to mail out to 100 if my math is right? 100 homes is $50, and then spend another $100 to do a Facebook retargeting campaign. And now you're all over the place with this one development that we're talking, and hopefully that generates phone calls. But I'm excited about this idea because I think you can really do it at a small budget and with fairly simple strategies and get people to you can track it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, here's the one caveat there: consistency.
Right.
You can't do it one time and say, oh my God, I'm baby Jesus of the neighborhoods now. Everybody knows who I am. No, you got to do this at least, Gene, Dan, Matt, guys, marketer geniuses. What would you say? How many times a month? 1, 2, 3, 4 times a month? Different ads or same ad? What would you say to do that every month throughout the year to be consistent and persistent? Because what I've understood and heard is as soon as you think that you're being annoying and talking too much to the consumers, that's exactly when they start listening to you.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I would keep the ads like always running on Facebook. Maybe sometimes parts of the week, month, or year you come in heavier than other times. And then on the organic side too, like I think if you're putting out good, relevant content, you can't put out too much. There's a lot of people out there, like advisors, consultants, that say don't overpost. But if you look at all the big dogs on social media, they're all putting out like 3 Instagram posts a day, like probably 50, things on Twitter and 5-10 things on Facebook. And they didn't get there by doing like one thing and being inconsistent. So my advice on that would just be consistently putting out good content. And you're right. When people think like, oh my God, they're everywhere, but this is like almost too much, but that's when the business is going to flood in. It really is.
Yeah. And you get over yourself and just say, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do. I need to be this up in people's faces. It's the same thing that other agents are doing right now in postcards. You're just doing it on a digital format at a fraction of the cost, as well as doing live videos on your business page. You can boost those. There's a whole ton of other stuff. I know we don't have enough time. I know we got to wrap it up, but there's so much that we could go into on how to be hyper local. So reach out to Dan, harass Matt, terrorize Gene, and get your answers. Get your answers answered. Questions answered.
That's right. Dan, remind us, what's the URL for the event?
Yeah, it is hyperfastsalesbootcamp.com, and we created a special code, discount code for your listeners. It is REU25. So if they go to get a ticket, put that in, they'll get 25% off. And that's on all tickets, everything from general admission's $100, and there's a $1,000 VIP ticket that gets you get to sit front row, stand in front of this thing with Grant Cardone, and get a photo and a meet and greet behind stage. So, but you guys will get 25% off if you use the code REU25.
That's awesome, dude. I'm afraid that if I have
cool.
a picture with Grant, I'm going to tower over him. And be like, that's going to be but it's going to be a huge thing, man. I'm super pumped for you, brother. And I'm glad this event's going to hopefully it's going to take off like a gangbusters. It's going to change a lot of agents' lives and give them a ton of value so they can jumpstart 2019 with vigor.
And Gene, I know you got to jump. What's the best way to reach out and connect with you?
Better sing it, Gene. You better sing it.
I'm not singing it. No, I'm
better
not
sing
singing
it, bitch.
If you won't sing it, listen. If you won't sing it for me, I ain't singing. Gene Volpe. Come on, McDaniel.
.com.
GeneVolpe.com. Thank you, sir.
So lame. Can't believe I'm singing all
All right,
songs.
Gene, we'll see you back in 2 Fridays because we have no show the day after Thanksgiving, right? Because Greg will be on a couch somewhere consuming some Netflix and some inebriation.
Right back here.
Yeah,
Right back
Greg
here.
is going to be right back there. So we'll see you, Gene.
Are
in
you
2
watching
Fridays.
me? Are you watching me? How did you know that? Listen, happy
right.
Thanksgiving, boys. Dan, enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, and then
Later,
Greg,
Gene.
what's the best way to reach out and connect with you?
Guys, go to bookmcdaniel.com. That's the number one best way to get a hold of me. That's where we can talk about EXP. We can talk about your future in real estate, kind of what you guys are looking to get out of it, where you're trying to get to when it comes to catapulting your business to the next level. If you're interested in growing your business, come and let's go to exp.com, bookmcdaniel.com, and we can talk about EXP. This smoke is truly affecting me. All right. So,
Good
Matt,
Lord.
how can people reach out and harass you?
Well, the best way is to just go to rockstarlivevideo.com, get our free training on how to use Facebook Live to grow your business, and it actually gives you something that you can put in front of people. You can boost your Facebook Lives and start building a video audience of people there and start using some of the strategies we talked about with Gene and Dan. And then make sure to go rate and review the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I won't belabor the point. Let's put a nice bow around the episode and call it good.
What color? What color?
I don't know. Let's go with bright blue. I like the background of Dan.
Okay.
He's got with the hyper fast agent there. I like that. So bright blue. Bow.
Bright ocean blue. All right, Dan,
That's right.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, brother. We really appreciate it. We thank you for what you're doing for agents, and I just want to give you virtual air knuckles for crushing it this year in your personal business, and be able to get the Grant Cardone to your event. That's gonna be super cool. But guys, we love you. We can't do the show without you. We're gonna come back, give Dan a shout out on iTunes when you give us a 5-star review, and we'll go from there. Until next time, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace out, ninjas. We're turkey gone. Oof.